This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome back to another podcast episode of Change Your Mindset. As always, I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. Tom Brady, known as the GOAT of football, 7 championships, 6 with the New England Patriots, 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of people put him as the greatest quarterback of all time, since he has more championships than any other quarterback in NFL history. A lot of people don't see what it takes to be successful or what it takes to be the best, because these people do it in silence. You don't see the hard work. You see the rewards and outcome. Same thing like Kobe Bryant, which I did podcast on his Mamba mentality. These people work hard. You don't see it. You don't see the discipline and consistency they put in every single day compared to everybody else. This is what makes them great. I want to let you listen to 2 clips from the PBD podcast hosted by Patrick Bet-David, who interviewed Tom Brady. And this interview was released on September 20th, 2023. And the reason why I give the date, because a lot of things he talks about that you're going to hear, I've been talking about for the last year. How you need to be consistent, how you need to be disciplined, how you got to separate yourself from everybody else, and as I talk about, have the 1% mindset. Be the best version of yourself. Stuff I talk about, I don't make this up. It's not just for clicks, listens, just for people to pass time. These are what successful people actually do. This is how they think, and this is how they live their life. Like I said, this podcast came out September 20th, and I've been talking about what he talks about for the past year when I started this podcast. This is how you have to think if you want to be successful in life, if you want to be the best version of yourself, whether it's in business, sports, whatever it is, husband, wife, whatever category it is. Be the best at it. Be the best version of yourself. Consistency and discipline are 2 of the hardest things in this world to do. Some people can do it for a day. Some people can do it for a week. Some people can do it for a couple months. But it's hard to do it for years. But that's what it takes to be great. To separate yourself from everybody else. While you're being consistent and disciplined, everyone else will be falling off because they give up, they don't see the finish line, and they're quitters. And this is what separates people. People are willing to keep going when it's hard. Life's not easy, and life's never going to get easy. It's a battle, and it depends how hard are you willing to fight for what your dream is, or whatever your goal is. How much are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Some people don't have goals, dreams, ambition to do something great with their life. People are like everybody else. They have jobs, go out partying on weekend, waste a life, go back to work, do that the whole life. And I always say that's a waste of a life. You have one life, don't waste it. But most people do. Most people are never the best version of themselves because it's hard. Being consistent and being disciplined is hard. It's not easy. That's why not everyone can do it. That's why not everyone is successful. That's what I talked about before on this podcast. Whether I want to go to the gym, whether I want to eat healthy, whether I want to work on the business, some days I don't want to do any of it. But I have to. Like this podcast. Sometimes I'm tired. I don't want to do a podcast, but here I am. Still pushing out podcasts. Nobody cares how you feel. No one's going to come, like I say, save you. It's up to you. Whatever you want to be in life, that's up to you. That's your choice. Your destiny is in your own hands. Whether you want to do something about it or not, that's up to you. And he talks about the man in the mirror, and I talked about this before. The only person that can change your life is that person looking back at you. Will you be proud looking at that mirror and seeing that reflection and happy with what you see? If not, it's time to get to work. And if you are happy, congratulations, because you're the best version of yourself. Majority of people, probably 1% of people, maybe 5, are the best version of themselves. And that's up to you. Like I said, everything I talk about in this podcast, this is how successful people think. This is how great people think. I don't just say this making it up. You're going to hear from Tom Brady himself say a lot of things that I've talked about previously. And this episode, like I said, was released September 20th. So there's no way that I could have copied what he said because this was recently released. And I've said this before, if you want to be great, if you want to be successful, you need to study people like this because they all think exactly the same. And this is what it takes. So if you want to be great, you want to be successful, you have to have that 1% mindset. If you don't, you're going to have that 99% mindset and you'll be like everybody else. Have a regular life, hate your life, be miserable, be depressed, be anxious because society right now, nobody's happy, unfortunately. But it's up to you to do something about it. So his first clip, I'm going to let you listen to what Tom Brady says in the interview, how he talks about being disciplined and what being disciplined means and how you can be successful if you are disciplined. So here, take a listen.
Atlanta in 2016 and a 6-1 against the Rams in 2018. And then they go to Tampa. It was the same motivation. Money didn't motivate me. Fame didn't motivate me. I didn't give it about any of it. I always took less money because I wanted a good team around me. I didn't care about going to all these different places and doing those things. I just wanted to be my best. I wanted to go out there and the team believed in me. I didn't want to let them down. Every year was different. Just like in your business, every year is different. You can't sit there and say, God, we had a great year. Let's just do the same. Like, you don't think everyone's watching? Yeah. The whole competition's watching, especially if you're good. So it's one level of discipline, and I think this is a lot. Like, discipline, and I would say consistent discipline has been one of those prodigy-like strengths that I had. So I didn't have the arm that could throw the ball 80 yards. I didn't have the 4.3 speed that Michael Vick had. I didn't have the size that a lot of guys had. But I did have something inside of me that no one could see from the outside, this level of discipline that I could accomplish something that was really important and really special. But not let it get to my head and not to think that I've arrived or to think that I'm something different or better than anyone else. I just thought, man, we put our mind to it. We accomplished something incredible as a team. Let's go do that again. Wasn't that unbelievable? And the good part in football is the next year you start right back at the bottom. You don't start as Super Bowl champ. Kansas City Chiefs, they're not the Super Bowl champs this year. They were the Super Bowl champs last year. And nobody could take that away from them. That is theirs forever. They have a banner. They have a ring. It's great. But it doesn't mean anything for this year. And that's the challenge of sports. That's the challenge we all face. That's the level of discipline. I became very disciplined with my body through this guy who I met along the way. His name's Alex Guerrero for the last 21 years. My best friend, body coach, mentor, everything. I owe so much of my success to him. And, we just learned how to treat my body a certain way so that I could optimize my physical performance. I could do things outside of the box because I needed my body to feel good. It was my asset. If my body started to deteriorate, I couldn't throw the ball the way that I wanted. So a lot of people, a lot of people can be really consistent, let's say with your diet, because it's always on people's mind. Like, I want to get healthy. Most people could say, man, I want to eat healthy for one day, or I want to exercise for one day, or I want to be more hydrated for one day. Well, can you do it for a week? Well, that's more discipline, right? Can you do it for a month? That's more discipline. Can you do it for a year? That's even more discipline. So I was so blessed to have this discipline over a really long period of time. And to be honest, people will say now, oh, come on, Tom, don't you go out there and just have whatever you want now that you're done playing? And I'm like, no, man, this is still my asset. This is still my body. Look at what we dealt with at COVID 3 years ago. That can withstand the traumas that it's going to be faced with. And in football, it's faced every week. You're getting a car crash every single week. So how do I develop a body proactively? How do I think about my health and wellness proactively so I don't find myself in the surgeon office at the end of the year? So I don't find myself as a 50-year-old former athlete who needs a knee replacement. So those were really important steps on my journey, because when I began to understand how to throw the ball better, when I began to understand through Coach Belichick how to study the game more and to be a real student of the game, right? There's only a certain lifespan for athletes. Everyone thinks, oh, as an athlete, you just have to basically maintain this level until your body completely deteriorates. Well, and I tried to prove to everybody, guys, it doesn't have to be like that. You just got to make good choices every day, as good as possible. And I still get people that go, how did you do it? And I'm like, I wrote a freaking book. I literally wrote a book. Buy the book. I mean, not to buy it from me, but buy it because it's good knowledge. Like, go out there. I'm trying to give you answers to the test. This is a lot of athletes want to maximize their potential, maximize their opportunity. You guys want to maximize the potential and opportunity you have in your business. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot of consistent discipline. It doesn't mean that you can have one good month. It means that you got to do a lot more right than wrong. It means you got to make a lot more good choices than bad choices. It means you have to be more disciplined than not disciplined. It means you have to surround your people with very smart people, not people that are going to help you think less. You got to challenge yourself, not challenge yourself less. So we're all faced with those decisions every day, and you get the opportunity, just like I had the opportunity, to choose. What do you want? What are your goals? What are your priorities? What do you guys want to achieve? You guys are sitting here as entrepreneurs, CEOs, leaders, running business, running families. What's the choice you get to make every day to wake up and say, all right, this is where I'm going to focus my time and energy? How disciplined are you to maintain that routine over a period of time? And I think that will determine your level of success.
There you have it right there. One of the greatest of all times telling you, to be successful, you have to be disciplined for a long period of time. That's what it takes. But nobody wants to do it. Another thing he talks about that I've talked about previously in these podcasts is your health, taking care of your body. One of the most important things. And he talks about himself. Your body is an asset. I said that before. If you take care of your body take care of you. And he talked about COVID. How your body was able to fight it off if you were healthy, if you took care of it. That's exactly what I talk about. Take care of your body, take care of your health. You only get one of it. You only get one body, so take care of it for the rest of your life. Most people destroy it. But if you take care of it, it's going to take care of you. It's that simple. But people decide to do drugs, eat horrible, drink alcohol all the time, and destroy their body. In that case, you're going to get sick all the time. And I talk about this. You get sick, you go to doctors, they make money off of you, to prescribe pills, all that stuff. It's one big cycle. And you want to avoid all that? Just take care of your body. Eat right. Go out, work out, keep yourself healthy. Because a lot of people aren't healthy. And you see it all around you when you walk outside. And I'm telling you, this is what great people do. This is how they think. And you're clearly hearing it from one of the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Whether you like him or not, you have to respect greatness. I wasn't a fan of Tom Brady, but I respect him. He wasn't from my team, but I respect him. Because I know the sacrifice they have to make and the hard work they have to make to be great. Nobody sees it. You just see it on game day. That's all you see, the success. You don't see the hard work in private. Nobody sees that. Same thing with Kobe Bryant, when I talked about the Mama Mentality podcast. He was respected. At the end of the season, on his last season, when he went to road games to other teams, even though they hated him his whole season for 20 seasons because he was good and he always beat them. The end of his career, the audience, fans got up and clapped for him because they respected him, because they know how hard work and sacrifice you have to make to be that great. And that's why you have to respect greatness. Whether you like them or not, you have to respect them because it's hard. Not everyone is willing to make that sacrifice and be disciplined and constantly put in the work. Very, very few. But that's what it takes to be successful. And that's what it takes to be great. On all these podcasts, I always say, be the best version of yourself. Physically, mentally, financially. But here's Tom Brady himself. About him being the best version of himself. Take a listen.
Fantastic. Tom. But the question I ask is, why do it? Meaning, is it a vision you're solving for? Is it like yourself? Hey, vision, in order for me to be able to play for XYZ years, and I got to be healthier. I got to be pliability. I got to be more flexible because I'm shooting for a goal or I'm shooting for a vision. Or it's just, I got to be ready for this year. I have a hard time believing that it's just for 1 year. Was there a vision for you to say, if I'm going to be the best of all time, I'm going to need to make sure I take care of my health, I take care of your mind, I minimize the amount of distractions. Were you solving for a vision, or was it just one season at a time?
It was one season at a time, and I'll say this. I never once in my life ever said I wanted to be the best of all time. Ever. I wanted to be the best I could be, period. That's all I wanted. I learned that in college. It didn't matter what the other guys were doing. It didn't.
Powerful.
It mattered what I was doing.
Powerful.
I had to look in the mirror every night. I had a, for different reasons, that last year was a hard year for me. One of the hardest in my life. And I printed out the man in the glass, the big poster, and I put it on my mirror in the bathroom, and I looked at it every single day. And I said, be proud of the man in the glass. Be proud of that man that wakes up every day and does the best that he could do with his priorities, and a lot of things happen in our life. We all face our challenges and adversities, and we all go through things. And I think life is about dealing with a lot of things that you didn't want to have happen in your life, whether it's your business or whether it's sports or whether it's personal or, children. And like I said, we all have our unique challenges, but best you can do, show up every day and make the commitment to yourself and the people that count on you, the people that you support you. And through a lot of failures, you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to hopefully be humbled. Because sometimes, you give your best and it doesn't work. And I learned that in sports, and you learn it in life in different ways too. Sometimes you do what you do, you try your best, you work hard, but it just doesn't in the end go the way you want. So what are you going to do, quit? You're going to just blame everyone else? You're going to go in there and blame the guy next door and blame that person and blame the dog and go out there and sleep until 10 o'clock? Or are you going to get out of bed, wake up, and go do something about it? Learn from it and make it better.
And the last part that you talked about, I talked about in a previous podcast, end victim mentality. And he said himself right there, are you going to blame everybody else, or are you going to do something about it? Because nowadays, everyone is a victim. It's always somebody else's fault. It's society's fault, this country, their parents, their job, work, school, whatever it is. It's always somebody else's fault. By the end of the day, it's up to you to change your life. Because, unfortunately, everyone's a victim nowadays. And if you live in the United States of America, a land of opportunity, you have no reason to say that you're a victim. You can be whoever you want in this country. You can make however much you want in this country. That's up to you. It just depends how much work you want to put in. But unfortunately, again, everyone's lazy. No one wants to do anything, especially with younger generations. People don't want to do anything anymore. And that's the sad truth. And like I said, all these things I talk about on this podcast, you just heard it there from Tom Brady. One of the greatest of all times. This guy was nothing special. He was drafted in round 6, number 199. He was nothing crazy. He wasn't physically fit, super tall, fast. He was none of that. He was an average guy, but he just put in work. He was disciplined, and he sacrificed a lot. And look what happened to him. Ended up being one of the greatest of all times. Anyone can be great at whatever you're doing. It's up to you. If you're born with 2 arms and 2 legs, you have no excuse. Some people aren't even lucky or fortunate to have 2 arms and 2 legs. And some people lose them. So what's your excuse? You don't have any. If you want to be great, you want to be successful, do it. You got to be disciplined. You got to be consistent. And it's funny because all this I talk about, I learned it all from my dad. I saw him do these exact same things. And he built a business in 15 years. Started at the age of 50. And it was successful. It bought him his retirement, bought him his house, bought him his car. And he was set for life. Yes, he worked very hard previously before that to save the money to start a business, but he did it. Did exactly what we talk about. being disciplined, being consistent. He never called out sick, he never missed a work day, never took a vacation, and it all paid off for him. It doesn't matter how you look, where you came from, none of that matters. If you have the discipline, if you have the consistency, if you have the desire to be great, to be successful, you can do it. Anyone can do it. But it's up to you. And that's why I always say, change your mindset to change your life. That's why this podcast is Change Your Mindset. Because if you want to be great or successful, that's up to you. It's all mindsets. That's will be it for this podcast. As always, I appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully you get an idea and you understand what I talk about in these podcast episodes. I don't make it up. This is exactly how successful people think. And you hear from Tom Brady himself. So hopefully you understand that this is what it takes. And none of this I talk about is a lie or a scam. I always speak the truth and always will. Thank you, Patreon member Blade262, for being a Patreon member and helping support this podcast. If you have any questions, comments, or you have a topic for a future podcast episode, you can do that by being a Patreon member. The link is in the description below. And I appreciate it if you guys do join. Thank you. As always, please subscribe, share, comment, like the podcast. Helps with the algorithm, and when you guys do share, it does help reach more people than I can do by myself. So thank you guys as always. Like I always say, keep improving, be the best version of yourself. Be disciplined, and you have to be consistent. Hard work always pays off, no matter what. It takes time, but it's a journey. And remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Thank you guys again. I wish you the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.